Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with all of you this morning. It's been such a blessing to be a part of this community. So, who has a routine that they do every morning? Now, I'm not talking about the one where you hit your alarm clock 5 times, the snooze button, right? I'm not talking about that kind, a legitimate routine that's intentional. Does anyone want to share what they do? Just one thing? Yes? You stretch every morning. One more. Does someone else want to share? Yes? Same as him, stretch. Well, every morning I like to do a little bit in regards to reflecting about gratitude. Just as our reading today, we are asked to be grateful for everything God puts in our life, because it is the mark of it helps us become a Chunaguk citizen, because it helps us become better individuals, attain mind and body unity, and create a peaceful world. So, True Mother's motto, she reminds us, how can I live today with more gratitude than yesterday? And live with more gratitude tomorrow than today? So this morning, I want us to start off with this exercise of gratitude. So please turn to your neighbor next to you and say, thank you for coming. I'm grateful you're here. I was really blessed to be able to see this type of gratitude very frequently over the last couple of months, seeing True Mother. Actually, she has such a struggling course, does she not? Our true parents have lived such an amazing life. But she truly embodied gratitude. The first thing she does when she would see us would be, how are you? I'm so glad you came. Thank you for all that you've done. This is what she would say first to us. When we went to Top Gun, we got an opportunity to meet True Mother in person at this leadership workshop in Korea this past summer. You know what she did? She bought us all hamburgers and pizza. Because she knew that half the group were going to be Americans, 70 participants were from America. And she said, I want to make them happy, I'm so grateful for them. So picture this, we're in this magnificent room with chandeliers, on these plates, gold rimmed, the emblem of our church logo on there, with these beautiful, beautiful silverware, gold and silver, with the insignia on the base. And we're cutting hamburgers and pizza. It was such a funny sight, but the heart was so well felt because True Mother just wanted to give us her gratitude through this. So with that in mind, with the reading that we just read, I want you to take a moment in the stillness of your mind and think about what you're grateful for today. Now, I want you to get it on the tip of your tongue. Get ready. Because now I'm going to ask you to turn the person next to you and share it with them. Come on, don't be shy. We're brothers and sisters. We're all family. Already I feel the energy buzzing. Do you feel that? Isn't it so nice to start with gratitude? Now, I'm not going to ask you to do something that I won't do myself as well. So I'm going to share with you today a little bit about my personal gratitude. First and foremost, I am completely grateful to our heavenly parents and true parents who have brought me here to this community, who have guided me every step of the way. They have been always faithful, always grace-giving, and I'm so grateful for them. And I am grateful to my family who have taught me about love, taught me about true acceptance, taught me what it means to have a partner in life. Talking about my children and talking about the real life Superman. Real life. He's not just a comic book hero. My husband is the living, breathing Superman. He does everything. I've been on a lot of trips over the last 10 months, and I come home and my kids are happy. The house is pretty clean. And actually, it's much better than when I'm home, let's put it that way. And he's happy to see me, and there's not tension there. He welcomes me home, and he's so supportive. What more can I ask for? And I'm incredibly grateful to all of you, my new family. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for inviting me in. And I want to do a little shout out of gratitude to Pastor Manosh and his wife. It is such an amazing job that he's doing here, and with all of your support, so thank you. And for this band, I'm a wife of a worship leader, and it's not just Sunday mornings, it's not just practice, it's the music's in their soul. So every time they hear music, on the radio or while they're praying, it's like, I gotta figure out how I can transpose this. Maybe we could do this for band. So it's a constant on-call mission. So when you see your band members, please give them a lot of encouragement because they invest so much. So I'm not just a new face here, I'm also a new face at headquarters, so I don't know many of you, and I would like to get to know you better. But to start us off, I would like to introduce more about myself. And I would be remiss if I didn't start with those that gave me life and those that have given me so much support over the last few years. My parents, Tomio and Carol Miyazaki, I think they'll be on the screen shortly. This is a picture of my entire family. My father is from Japan. He joined when he was 15 years old. And he's one of those dads that is a true Renaissance man. He builds things, he fixes things, he cooks, he cleans. He's very devoted to our family and invests a lot in the church. My mom is my best friend. She's an amazing guide. Every step of the way, she's always giving. She taught me how to be a mom, and for that I'm ever grateful. She was the middle of 9 kids, and she joined when she was 20. She and my parents were married in 1982 at Madison Square Garden. I'm the eldest of 4 children. My husband's the middle of 3. My husband, Richard Curdy, and I were both born actually right here in New York, New Jersey, so close by, in New York. And there's actually a picture of us when, first and foremost, my in-laws, I can't forget them. They have taught me what it means to communicate well, what it means to have strong family ties. They're my second parents. I actually joined their family when I was 17 years old, so without them, I wouldn't be here either. That's Wayne and Tony Lee Curry. So when we were both born here, and this is actually a picture of when we first met. I was about 6 months old. I'm the little baby, a little girl being held in my mom's arms, and my husband is the little chubby, bald boy. He's about 8 months. We didn't meet each other after that for 17 years. 17 years later, I thought I was grown, and I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm ready for the matching at 16. I gave him my paperwork. It's like, find someone for me. So at 17, we were matched by our parents, and this coming winter, it will be our 10-year anniversary. So these 10 years have been one of the most amazing adventures I've ever been on. From sharing all these life milestones together, it's truly remarkable. From going to college together, to going abroad, we did a service work in Korea, to being pastors for 3 years in Florida and having our 2 beautiful children, and now to our new mission where we're working with headquarters to serve all of you, and where we're embarking on a new level of education. I started at UTS to get my doctorate there. So through all these life changes, we've been together, and I'm so grateful for that. I could not ask for a better partner or a better family. Now, I just don't want to be here telling where I've been, what I've done, but I want you to know really who I am. So when we were at Top Gun, the leadership seminar that I mentioned earlier, this past summer in Korea, we did an activity to create our own personal mission statement. Now, we just heard True Mothers. What is True Mothers? Being grateful more today than yesterday. Be grateful in every situation. Every day, be grateful for it, right? Mine's not quite as amazing as that, but I would like to share it with you so you know a little bit more about who I am. My life mission is to use my gift of compassion and caring for others and my passion to serve God and the community to create a God-centered family that can serve the community together as one. And through this, hopefully God can feel joy and thereby developing one family under God who recognizes the true parents as the Messiah. So with that being said, it's enough about me. I would like to share with you what's been really deep on my heart over the last 10 months. On January 1st of this year, I was appointed by True Mother to be the vice president, along with 2 other individuals. And over the course of these last few months, I have been blessed with many opportunities to meet with True Mother and to reflect and really get into the Word. Though every meeting and every moment of these last 10 months have been so profound and so thought-provoking and so spiritually awakening, the one that struck me the most happened the first time I met her after I became appointed. We went to the witnessing in Las Vegas in January, and we had the blessing, Milhan Stevens, the other vice president, and Katrina Connery, who is the vice president of Women's Federation. We had the opportunity to go to True Mother's house and to give a report about the witnessing. I was chosen to give the report, and I was like, "Are you sure? The last time I saw True Mother, I did nothing but cry." "Are you sure?" And they were like, "Yes." And I was like, "Okay." So I tried to gear myself up, and luckily I was able to get through the report. And then True Mother just sat there looking, and I was like this, and looking. And then she asked us all a question: "Did you witness?" And thankfully I could say yes. Then she asked, "Did you bring a guest?" Thankfully I could say yes. And then she thought for a little while more, looking at me, looking at the brothers and sisters there. And then she started to share with us some of her deep desires and her heart. And a few things prominently stuck in my mind. One is she said, "Do not just stand behind a desk. Do not just hold on to things." That's the second thing. That we must testify the blessing that was put in our lives by our Heavenly Parent and true parents. And finally, the most intense thing of all, she said, "Be miracle workers." You know, when you hear that, it's like, me? I was just a pastor last month of a really small community, like half the size of right now in the room. Like, really? It's like, oh dear. It's like, how am I going to handle this? I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know what it meant. This was such a big deal. Have you ever been in this position where you were given a calling that you're like, "I'm not equipped for, I don't have the skills for"? Anybody? It's kind of like being a student in a classroom and your teacher says, "You teach now"? You know, it's kind of that kind of feeling. Have you felt that way? I feel that way a lot. Well, over the last 10 months, as I mentioned, I did a lot of traveling. Did I mention my husband was Superman? Well, thankfully, during this time, I was given a lot of opportunities to get into the Word and to pray. On those long flights, on waiting in line, I just had my phone out reading the Word and praying, trying to figure out what did True Mother need from me? What did Heavenly Parent need from me most? And that's when it hit me that True Mother wasn't saying that I physically had to make the miracles myself, but that I had to be ready and willing to let Heavenly Parent make the miracles through me. That I had to be willing and open enough to receive anything and all the blessing and all the love, all the education that God had to offer me through experiences, through the Word. And be ready to give that to all those around me. I want to reference the Chumbo passage that we just read. Right before True Father left for Danbury, he said, "Please never complain. You should be grateful for the position that you've been placed in. For when you become completely one through your gratitude, great miracles can take place." This was said in 1984. Great miracles can take place if we are grateful, if we fill ourselves up with that gratitude. With that, I began realizing I need to create a new mantra. I need to redefine who I am and what it means to be me. Actually, I'm very, very, very shy, painfully shy. I'm one of those that after I give a sermon or after I speak in public, from high school on, I would run out of the room crying. My husband can attest. He was watching one of my first performances singing. I don't really sing, but I was trying it out. And halfway through the song, running off the stage, That's how much speaking, how much it stresses me out. So I had to redefine, what does it mean? What does it mean to be a miracle worker? How can I let God fill me up? How can I be brave enough to step up, rise up to the occasion? And then I realized that I had to redefine what my purpose was. I had to clarify that. And I realized that I needed to be a pitcher. Now, I'm not talking about a baseball pitcher. I'm not going to join a baseball team. I'm talking about this kind of pitcher. Tell me about this. What do you do to the pitcher? You fill it up with water, that's right. What else does a pitcher do? Did someone say pour it out? I think I heard that out there. Pour it all out, that's right. What else? There's another unique quality of a pitcher that we don't always talk about, that we don't always recognize. I hear transfer. There's one other one.
Clear and dark.
It's clear, that's beautiful. What else? That's right. There's one more thing that we don't really notice. It's always ready. It's always at the ready. You don't have to do anything to prepare it. You don't have to heat it up. You don't have to plug it in anywhere. You just fill it with whatever you need to do, and it's ready to go. So I realized that if I had a pitcher-like life, if I felt that I was a pitcher, then maybe, just maybe, I could let God work miracles in my life. God can really use us then, because we're open, we're ready to be grateful for whatever He puts there. We're ready to learn, we're ready to be filled up. They're a very simple creation. This one's just one piece of blown glass. That's it. They're so simple. But this mentality is actually the key to being this miracle worker that your mother asked. So the first quality I want to go a little bit more in depth on is, this pitcher is what? What do? You put stuff in. It's humble enough to receive. Pitcher openly receives whatever is put into it. Water, soda, juice, it takes it. In the case of my children, mud, dirt, worms, it takes it. That's one of their favorite things, is to take cups and fill it with dirt in the backyard. Likewise, human beings, we're just like that pitcher, that if we recognize ourselves, if we change our mindset and see our function as being filled up by God and continuously doing so, through the Word, through other people, it's so easy to overflow with that joy and with that love. Now, personally, this is really difficult for me. I don't like receiving. I like to be the giver. I like to help people. I don't like to be helped. I really struggle with that. But then when I realized the beauty of the pitcher and what it really means to be a miracle worker, I realized that I had to change my mindset, because I was actually blocking God from working in my life. I was blocking God from filling me up because I would refuse to receive it. A lot of us have that issue of being able to receive love, compliments, advice. Actually, I was a psych major in undergraduate, and we read a lot of people have difficulty receiving love, for whatever the reason, for past wounds, from not understanding. And so I realized that I was missing out on God's love because I blocked it, because I didn't want to receive. I just wanted to give. And as soon as I was able to see that, I realized that God was trying to fill me up each and every day. Going back and forth, being with so many people, always talking and sharing, it was getting overwhelming for me. I was feeling a little bit drained, because as I mentioned, I was very, very shy. And I still am, actually. But I realized that God did not want to leave it there, that He was trying to fill me up. I just wasn't seeing it. So as soon as I saw that, I was able to see different situations in my life in a whole new light. After I came to this conclusion, I was by myself, first time in our new house, trying to get it ready before the family came, and I'm rushing to the train. Now, I don't know how the train system works here, because in South Florida, public transit, not the big thing. It's actually longer than walking. And so I get on the train, and I'm like, "Conductor, is it okay? Can I buy the ticket on the train?" And he's like, "Sure." So the ticket collector comes by 10 minutes later, and I go to buy my ticket, give him my credit card. And he's like, We only take cash. It's like, okay. And it's double the normal ticket price. And I was like, okay, so I'm here digging in my purse, and I know I don't have any money because I don't carry cash. In South Florida, cash is more of a liability. So I'm there digging in my purse, and this woman, I've never met her before, quiet little woman, the car is practically empty. She's the only other person in the train. And she's like, don't worry, I have it. She just gives the conductor $20. Never met her before. And I'm not like put together businesswoman, like I just forgot my wallet type of thing. I'm in sweatpants and a ratty t-shirt, and I'm carrying a bag stuffed full of clothes, and I'm carrying a laundry drying rack. And this is how I am on the train, completely disheveled. And she just goes out of her way and does it. And I ask her, can I have your number? I want to pay you back. And she's like, don't even worry about it. God was trying to fill me up and love me there, knowing that my family that I left behind at home, my mom, my dad, my kids, my husband, that's only part of my family. That my family is all here. Everyone in this room and everyone I encounter with, these are God's children. And God was trying to remind me of that we need to care for one another. So I just want to bring this back to the word, this gratitude thing. Get it back to today's reading, when True Mother was talking about, True Father were talking about the importance of being grateful, how it changes your perspective. You see things in a whole new light. You have mind and body in unity. You're free. So in that gratitude of being able to receive and recognizing it, God was able to touch my life and fill me up. So I challenge you this week, open up your heart. Let God fill it. See where God's trying to fill you, whether it's through your struggles, whether it's through good times. Let yourself be filled up with that gratitude. Now, what was another thing I mentioned about this picture? What's so cool about a picture? Not only does it fill up, it pours it out. Its purpose, its intrinsic value is to give. It's to give. And so if we change our mindset to be like this picture, if we're like, I am a pitcher, this is what I do, this is my purpose, there won't be any resentment. There won't be any negative feeling. There won't be any calculations. I gave this much, and I gave this much. No, because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's so amazing. There won't be any begrudging giving, because you're fulfilling your purpose. My purpose is to give. Therefore, I do it willingly and often. And the thing about giving is once you start doing it, and more you feel you have more to give. And I want to bring this back to the Word because the Word is so powerful in filling us up. True Father mentions that when you take your work and even if you don't fulfill it, if you offer it in gratitude to Heavenly Parent and ask for their guidance and their help, as Heavenly Parent's help, then you'll be happy. Everything will look beautiful to you because you look for it with a grateful heart. And you find yourself that you cannot keep this happiness to yourself. You'll be so overflowing that you'll naturally will witness to others and share it. This is how we were created, to naturally be filled up if we didn't block ourselves, to be filled up by God's love through our brothers and sisters and through the words. It is so simple. True Mother was so clear when she asked us to become miracle workers. She was simply asking us to let God work His miracles in our lives so we could touch all those around us and so we could spread those miracles and empower others to do the same. If we remember to be this picture, we can be those miracle workers. Think about that. What else? The third quality of this picture, do you guys remember? It's always ready. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's always ready. You don't need any prep for it. It's ready to be filled by a higher power, which is in our case us. And in our case as human beings, as God's children, it's being ready to be filled up through God. Be on the call. Be ready to move when Heavenly Parent moves our heart to move or to act. Isn't that a great feeling to say that I can move when Heavenly Parent moves my heart? Isn't that a great feeling? For me, it's more like when Heavenly Parent moves my heart and it goes along with my 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and 5 year plan. For me, this was a big concept for me to get my heart around because I like structure. I like schedules. I don't like spontaneity. Or I didn't. Now things have changed. Now I kind of thrive on it. But for a long portion of my life, I like stability and structure. My husband would say that I make list to make list. Okay, let me just put it in perspective. So not only do I know what I'm going to be feeding my family for every meal this week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, my husband and I spent all afternoon yesterday after finishing preparing for this sermon cooking all those dinners. So now they're in our freezer ready to go for this week. That's how it is for me in terms of wanting to be really, really prepared. So this spontaneity thing, being at the call, is something that I struggle with. Dr. Kim and Dr. Balcom, not so much. At a drop of a hat, they can have something profound to say or a word of wisdom to offer us. They go here and there all over the country trying to share True Parents' love and Heavenly Parents' love with all the members. You know, these past couple weeks, I think I've seen them in the office maybe a couple days because they're everywhere. I think that they spend more time in other people's living quarters than in their own. So for me, that's hard, but I'm growing. I'm so grateful for Heavenly Parent for bringing me here and into this new role and this new understanding of being like a pitcher because I made it a challenge to myself. How can I be in love with change and spontaneity? And so when I distress, I like to watch NCIS. Anyone watch that show? Oh, just me? Okay, so the special agent Giz, right? He's like, let's go. And everyone has to grab their bags and run out the door. He doesn't wait for anybody. He just goes straight to the car. So I created my go bag. And in my go bag, I had my suits, my shoes, toiletries. So that way, at least I could be physically ready for whenever I got called to go here or go there. This is still a learning curve. I'm still learning to be at the ready. But this inspiration of being pitcher-like made me realize the importance of always being at the ready. Because that means that we won't miss the opportunities God puts in our life. Take a moment, think about it. Think about either a lost opportunity or a gained opportunity that when you chose to act or not to act when God was calling you. Think about it. And I'm not talking just physically being at the ready. I'm talking spiritually. Sometimes decisions are hard. For me, okay, as I said, I like to think a lot. I like to weigh pros and cons. So when I was in Korea, I had to decide to buy a water bottle. I needed one, right? I went there. It took me 2 hours to find one water bottle. This is about 4 years ago. 2 hours. Because I was looking at the pros and cons of each one. And then I spent 1 hour of those 2 hours looking at the same type of water bottle, trying to figure out which one had the least defects and which one if it really would suit my needs. Okay? I share this with you because I wasn't spiritually at the ready for this. I know it's a silly analogy, but that's our life. It is analogous to our lives. Like, are we really ready? Are we preparing our hearts every day to be ready when we're called? Frankly, if our true mother did not prick my heart, and if I didn't have some semblance of understanding of this transformation of becoming pitcher-like, I don't think I would be where I am today. I don't think my heart would have grown so much. I'm just so grateful because of that, I feel that God can transform me. So having the courage to be at the ready leaves one open to all sorts of possibilities, all sorts of miracles. Being a pitcher is amazing. The thing about pitchers, though, is that it requires a level of action, personal responsibility. We can choose what happens to the contents of our pitcher. Question is, if you get filled up by God, by one another, are we going to misuse it, pouring it all out on our troubles, our struggles, our stress, pouring it out daily grind so it's just lost into nothingness? Do we do nothing to the picture and just let it stay there, hoping that the contents evaporate and makes rain, also known as letting God take care of all the work? Or do we let it go stagnant? True Mother has often said over the course of the last few months that we are this pure water. We are full of this amazing blessing the Heavenly Parent gave us. God put in each one of us some talent, some gift, some passion, some hope in us. We all have this. But do we let this beauty fester and grow stagnant? So this once pure thing is no longer life-giving, but rather destructive. That's the thing about pictures. It's what we choose to do with it. Or do we do what God asks us to do of it and just pour out our contents to all those around us? This means knowing what's inside of us is worthy and is worth it and worth sharing. Let me say that again. This means knowing what's inside of us is worth sharing. Heavenly Parents filled us with something spectacular, and it's our choice if we are going to touch and save the lives of those around us. Because someone decided that they were going to live like a pitcher, because they decided that they were going to let themselves be filled up, open up their hearts to receive God's love, open up to see God's beauty and gratitude, and decided to pour it out, I'm here. I literally wouldn't be here because my mom, when she was 20 years old, would not have joined the church, and she never would have met my dad. He's from Japan, she's from America, so I physically would not be here. Until someone asked her, what is the purpose of life? Which is a question she was asking herself for the last few months. And then taking her, deciding to outreach her and taking her home to one of their lectures, and then she seeing True Parents' picture and saying, whoa, that's the Messiah, and joining that night. I wouldn't be here. All of you wouldn't be here either if someone didn't outreach to you and share God's beauty to you and share the truth with you. I shared this with you to remind us all of a couple things. You all know this already, but it never hurts to get a reminder of why it's important to manifest and become like a pitcher, receiving, giving, and sharing. No matter how small or insignificant an action may seem, no matter how little results appear to be had, no matter how unworthy I may feel as an individual, positive action for God is never wasted. Say that in your heart. Say that out. Positive action for God is never wasted. We have no idea. We cannot comprehend the miracles God is trying to create in our lives. We cannot comprehend the amazing plan God has for us unless we have the courage to act. You know, sometimes we just feel like we're sowing seeds, but actually that's a good thing because we don't know what will bloom afterwards. Now, since I'm from Florida, I want to talk about the Madagascar palm for just a moment. Now, this tree grows to magnificent size. Guess how long it takes to flower and bear fruit? Anyone guess?
20 years.
20 years? No, a little higher. Higher still. 100 years. It takes 100 years. So we don't know what seeds we're planting. We don't know what we're missing if we're not at the ready. God can use us. To be grateful, to be a pitcher, is so liberating. In today's Hunduke, True Mother said, when you find it in your heart to be truly grateful in front of heaven and your brothers and sisters, you find peace. You become free, and you break free of your chains. So, let's be free of our chains. Let's be free to give and free to receive. Let's be grateful. I bring this thought as I come to you humbly as was one of your vice presidents. I feel that it's my responsibility to do my utmost to follow True Parents and Heavenly Parent, and to be that pitcher, to be filled by Heavenly Parents' love and wisdom as much as possible, and to share that as much as I can with all who I meet. and to be at the ready, to be prepared, willing internally and externally to let God make miracles through me. Being a pitcher means I have to do my responsibility and be open. Anything is possible. This is what's so amazing. We all can be pitchers that God can work miracles through. You know, with this concept altogether, anything is possible. Unity of North and South Korea, a peaceful world, all these things are possible. We are all those pitchers that God uniquely fills with special talent, special gift, if we let him. Are you ready to be a pitcher? Are you ready to be open? Are you ready to be grateful? Are you ready to be filled? Are you ready to give? Let me hear that. Are you ready to give? Okay, so I feel it here. We're all in this together. We're one family, one community. You know, together, these communities come together, we form one nation. And you know what? We can change the world together. Maybe alone, not so easy, but we are one. So together, we can bring God's love to our brothers and sisters. Together, we can set the example. You know, everyone's looking at America, both inside and outside the church. Whether we do good or do bad, they see it, and there's a domino effect. So we have this choice. We have this choice to be life-giving influence to our brothers and sisters, to our friends, our relatives. We are the hope. We are the change of all humanity. We just have to believe it and allow God to work miracles through us. We can be miracle workers. Do you think so? Yes. Okay, so say it with me. Let's proclaim it to God, because once we do that, we change the whole atmosphere. So let's say it. I am a miracle worker. Let's say it together, one voice. I am a miracle worker. One more time. I don't think Heavenly Parent heard you. I am a miracle worker. Thank you, Heavenly Parent. How'd you?